Hey guys, I hope you're all having a great day, and today I have some very interesting news that I want to share with you guys. So, as all of you know, we just got the Maggie Story of the Outlands trailer dropping yesterday, and oh boy, EA released some official news, and this is freaking amazing for us. Now, the thing I'm going to be focusing on in today's video is going to be Olympus's map changes, and I will be showing you guys what this might actually look like in-game. So stay tuned for that. First, I want to go over some explanation as to what the frick is happening, just so that everyone is on the same page. So on the official EA website, we can see that they provided this teaser for us. A new view from Olympus. Something's different about the floating city, but what? And in yet another official image, we can see that in the background, we once again have Olympus. Now here is the interesting thing that I wanted to talk about. I've mentioned this a couple of times in the past. Heck, I've even talked about this all the way back when I first started my channel. But Olympus is designed in a way that allows you to mess around with map changes without having to destroy sections of the map. And this even comes down to changing the terrain. Let me explain. These tiles that you see on Olympus aren't simply ground tiles. It seems like these triangular tiles are actually movable. This seems to be some sort of transformable terrain, and I do believe this will play a role when it comes to Olympus's map changes and some possible changes that they might be making to what is going to be the high ground, what is going to be the low ground, where there's going to be cover, or whatever the heck they're planning. Keep in mind, these are some very early concepts for Olympus, and so there is the possibility that this might not apply anymore. But we do have to keep this in mind, as typically with these types of things, some parts of the original intention still remain. And so in this case, even if the triangular tiles on the Olympus map might not actually be physically changing, we can expect Olympus's map changes to not really revolve around blowing things up. And with that being said, I'll go ahead and show an image up on screen right now, and as you can see, there's something that's a little bit different in the background. That is right, folks, it seems like there is a city in the background. And you know what that means? It means that Olympus has decreased in altitude. Now, first things first, that's already very interesting, because it tells us two things. One is that the map change is most likely not going to revolve around blowing things up and changing the skybox into something that's ugly. We do also know from Respawn themselves that someone has been working on a masterpiece of a skybox, and I doubt blowing up a map would create a masterpiece of a skybox. And so since Olympus is the one receiving the map changes, well, I really doubt they're going to be blowing things up, despite Mad Maggie being the new legend. And for the second point, I think the map change might be related to some of these floating things, or maybe this giant turbine in the center of the map. Whatever the case, since Olympus has decreased in altitude, I think there's a possibility that some of the things which are keeping Olympus afloat have been damaged, or at least they've been tampered with. We know that back when we first saw Maggie in the Apex games, she ended up taking control of how the freaking ring works in Apex. I mean, that's a massive thing to take control of, and if she's still capable of doing a similar thing to that, well, maybe in this case, she did some tampering with Olympus and she ended up bringing it down to a lower altitude. And this is where some of the theories get a little bit far-fetched, but it is possible that Olympus might have decreased in altitude to a low enough point where some of the tall skyscrapers might now be accessible on the edges of the Olympus map. Perhaps we'll have some new playable areas that are simply really tall buildings with some verticality to them, and honestly, I think that'll provide for some pretty cool POIs, but of course, that is not confirmed, and I do believe this is a little far-fetched, so we're going to have to take this theory with a grain of salt. Now, we're going to receive the launch trailer in a couple of days, so if you're interested in finding out what might happen to Olympus, I highly suggest you keep an eye out for that. But until then, over the next few days, I'll be releasing a bunch of content related to Apex and its possible Season 12 changes. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and hopefully it made your day just a little bit better. Let me know in the comments below if you're excited for this Olympus map change, and if you have your own ideas on what might be happening, I'd love to see them. You guys are very creative, and you always come up with great freaking ideas. Alright, that's enough talk for me, and of course, as always, stay safe, and I'll see ya in the next one. Peace out.